Hello, Kyle here again, doing one of our orientation videos for our 44-foot Royalist number 14. First thing we do for our guests is we trim up our outboard so the guests can take pictures of the prop and lower unit of the outboard. Next thing we go over is the generator. This boat typically comes with either a Yamaha or a Honda 2000 generator, and our staff will show you how to start the generator very easily. It's very easy. Always have at least one jug of gas for the generator. We can give you more if you feel you need more during your stay. Main thing with the generator is the cord coming out. This is the cord coming from the houseboat. Needs to stay plugged into the generator. That cord is what feeds the outlets to the houseboat. So anytime you're using an outlet, the generator has to run. That's what feeds power to the outlets. Also, while the generator is running, it is charging our 12 volt deep cycle batteries. The deep cycle batteries power your overhead lights. They power the water pressure pump, and they also power the thermostat on the fridge. We always tell our guests to run the generator a minimum of 3 hours a day continuously. You can run it longer, but with that amount of running the generator, that keeps our deep cycle batteries charged up so that your houseboat stays functioning. So you have working lights, running water, and a working fridge. So, and then also on the back of the houseboat, we go over with our guests is these are the propane tanks. Propane uses of the propane are, of course, the stovetop and the oven. The fridge condensers run off of propane. That's what cools the fridge. And also during our spring and fall seasons, when the guests may be needing a little heat for the houseboat, it runs our heaters for the houseboat. And that's really the main use of your propane are the heaters. So if you're here during our spring or fall season, please keep tabs on your propane tanks. You always leave with full tanks. You just want to make sure that we don't run out. So during our service run, we can bring more propane out if need be, but the guests need to kind of keep tabs on that. So that pretty much covers the back deck. We'll start walking through the cabin. So we go through the cabin. We show that this is our carbon monoxide detector. We always want to make sure that's functioning. We show that to our guests. And then up here is the smoke alarm. Again, just making sure both of those are functioning for the guests. Next thing we go over is the toilet. So all of our toilets are a little bit different, but in houseboat number 14 here, kind of our standard older toilet. Basically, the toilet has, we kind of tell the guests the lever can either go up or down. So we say taking a number 1 go down and number 2 goes up. So number 1 down, that just flushes the toilet. That just empties into the septic tank. For a number 2, if you lift up, it fills the basin up with water, so it has there's something for it to float in, and then something to wash it away, so you don't have to deal with it the rest of your trip. We also have some drop-ins here for the septic. So if your septic is starting to get a little stinky during your trip, those help combat that. So, but next thing we go over with our guests is the refrigerator. So basically on the fridge, what we tell our guests is as long as the check light is not on, the refrigerator is working 100%. There is a thermostat inside the fridge of the refrigerator. So kind of what happens, it can happen typically during our warmer months is the guests show up, they really load up the refrigerator with food. These refrigerators need some time to get working fully. So if you feel that your food is not, or the refrigerator is not cold enough, we need to pull stuff out of the refrigerator, put it back in coolers, let the fridge kind of catch up, and then keep adding to it. Eventually, usually by the morning of the first day, after the first night, the fridge has got caught up. So that's just something we have to do with our RV fridges. Also in the fridge, there's a helpful sheet here for our guests. Kind of the top part kind of explains our service supply runs. The second one down is for any mechanical issues, emergencies, and just various amount of stuff that's very useful for our guests. If you're having questions during your stay, please look at that. Also, we have an inventory of our houseboat as far as kitchen and dishware, and just some stuff like that. So, but next thing we go over with our guests is we let our guests know that So all of our faucets, basically kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and shower, are lake water. So we don't want our, of course, we don't want our guests to drink that. So we do supply gallon jugs of fresh water. We supply plenty during your stay. We'll get as many as you want, and we can also bring some out during the service run to make sure you have plenty of drinking water and cooking water. But again, all the faucets are lake water, so don't drink that, of course. So stovetop, very simple. There's always a grill lighter, some matches on your boat. Very simple. Just light the stovetop with the grill lighter. For your oven, there is a pilot light down here in the bottom part of your oven. So if your oven doesn't seem to be working correctly, just make sure that pilot light is on. We always check that before you leave to make sure it's on, but sometimes it can get knocked out, but we can help you figure out how to light that if you need to call or text us. Very simple though. So, usually on the kitchen table of the houseboat is a binder. Inside that binder is some useful information about our houseboats and stuff that we offer, different activities on the lake, and also has a description of all of our mooring sites. Very helpful if you're kind of thinking of you're looking for something you need a question for. A lot of times it's in the binder. Up here at the helm, we usually like to go over kind of the switches at the helm here for our guests. So the top three switches here, so running lights, anchor light, and horn, we don't have anything connected to those switches. So whether they're off or on, they do not power anything. We do not want our guests out after dark, and we do not want our guests honking the horn, making too much noise on the lake. So kind of towards the bottom here, so our water pressure switch, that's what powers the water pump. We do like to keep that off when we're cruising on the lake. When you're at your mooring site, you can keep it on, but basically when you're cruising, keep it off. If you're on the lake, need to use some water, whether the restroom or washing your hands, just come down to idle speed, power on your water pressure pump, and then wash your hands, go to the bathroom. But once you're done, again, please keep that off while you're cruising on the lake. The rest of the time, it can stay on. Second switch here is our cabin lights. Basically, that's all the cabin lights, overhead cabin lights. Next switch down is our stereo. And the bottom switch on this boat has a spare one. That's actually what powers the refrigerator. So that needs to stay on during your stay. Up here at the helm, we have a separate orientation video for Humminbird GPS as far as navigating and finding your mooring sites. So look at that on our YouTube channel. Next thing we have here is starting the houseboat. So very simple, just turnkey start. Just start the motor. And then we have our RPMs up here. So max RPMs is 3,000 RPMs. That's going to give you a cruising speed about 5 miles an hour. The main thing we tell our guests is with the shifter, just be gentle with it. So always, put it in gear, then advanced throttle. Don't get too jerky with this. So just nice and easy. Keep everything running really well for you. But very simple operation here. So we do like to show our guests our heater. So the heater on this houseboat's right here. So very simple, has off pilot. So you just turn the knob to pilot. You hold it in while you strike it. That'll light your pilot light for you. So there it's lit. And from there, you want to hold your pilot light in for maybe 5 or 10 seconds. When you release it, the pilot should stay on, and then you dial it up. There's 3 settings. There's 1, 2, or 3. Basically, there's 3 ceramic tiles in there that'll, whether you want the amount of heat you want. So number 1 would be the lowest setting. Number 3 would be the highest setting. So, then after that, we kind of go out to our front deck out here. So we have a charcoal grill on the front deck for this houseboat, and then we also have the box up here in the front deck. We call it the dock, kind of the dock box or the deck box. This is what has all your life jackets and stuff in it for the houseboat. And then on the front gate, there's our plank for getting on offshore at your mooring site. And then on each side of the houseboat, there's 2 mooring ropes. Again, we have a separate video as far as mooring our houseboats, kind of a how-to on that. Again, that's on our YouTube channel. So that concludes our orientation video for our 44-foot Royalist number 14.